This video is for the 9-5 work together and on your own. You will need the working papers that start here on page 203, and then in the textbook I'm on page 273. Quite a lot to do for this one. The instructions say a blank schedule of accounts payable is given in the working papers. Use Golden Fabrics Cash Payments Journal from Work Together 9-4 and the accounts payable and general ledgers from Work Together 9-3. Your instructor will guide you through the following example. So, first step, we need to post the transactions from the cash payments journal to the accounts payable ledger. So what we need to do is we are going to post everything from our cash payments journal that needs to be posted individually. So what we're going to be looking at here is we're going to be looking at our general columns and our accounts payable ledger. Our accounts payable debit column as well too. So the first one here, we're going to post to utilities expense, and so I will need to take out, this is on page 206, and this is just like how we have posted before in our single journal. So my date here is the 2nd, and then this is my cash payments journal, page 10, so I need to put in CP10 for my post reference. You can't just put C because there's a cash payments and a cash receipts journal, so CP10. And I'm not looking at my cash credit or my purchases discount columns. This utilities expense had a debit for $124, so I'm going to put that in my debit column. And then to calculate my new balance, I will add, because I have a debit balance and then I also had another debit, so we would add. So my new balance is $1,072.59. Last thing, we'll take our account number 6170 and put that in for our post reference. After this, we are going to post to Gray Manufacturing Inc., and we're looking at our accounts payable debit column. We're not looking at purchases, discount, or cash because we're going to post these two as totals. So Gray Manufacturing on the 3rd, and this here is on the back. So I'm going to put in the 3, and then this was from Cash Payments Journal, page 10. So CP10, and then because I've already forgotten, this is going to be a debit for $1,640. So I will put in $1,640 as my debit. And we had a credit balance of $1,640, and there's a debit, so we will subtract. And if we subtract these two, it's going to be 0. So we are just going to draw a line through there to indicate that there is a 0 balance, like we have done previously before. So I'm going to put in the vendor number 220 in the post reference. And that one is done posting. Next, we need to post to purchases. That's our next account title here, and this had a debit. So if I find my purchases account, which is on page 205, this was on the 9th, and this was CP10. Purchases had a debit, $1,575, and since we have a debit balance for purchases and another debit, we will add the two of those together for $95,703.25. My account number 5110 is going to go on the post reference to indicate that I am done posting. And we're going to continue on. Credit card fee expense, that's on page 206, and that was on the 12th. And credit card fee expense had a debit of $64. So I'll put that in here as my debit. And I have a debit balance, and then I will add my debit here for my new balance of $545.15. And 6115 is going in the post reference column. So very similar to how we've posted before individually. Westland Supply, that was an accounts payable debit of $426. So I'm going to flip that over here. Nope, I already forgot the date. Westland Supply is 16. CP10 for my post reference. And that was $426 as a debit. So this is when we paid our vendors. So we have a credit balance of $992. We just had a debit of $426. Since they are opposite, we will subtract. And my new balance is $566. My vendor number 240 will go in the post reference. So just to look at here, we can see our ending balance now for Westland Supply. We owe them $566, and that's up to date. So we've posted everything to the accounts payable ledger now, so that's all up to date for us. So we have some more posting here for supplies office, supplies store, all of that from replenishing our petty cash account on the 31st. So we'll do supplies office first. This was the 31st. This was from cash payments journal, page 10. And we had a debit of $48.15. So we will add that to our debit balance because they are both debits. And that is $3,232.32. 1145 is our post reference. And then we'll do supplies store. Also on the 31st. $57.18. And we will once again add that to our debit balance. Oops, I made a mistake in my calculator. So our new balance, $4,237.36. 1150. And for the post reference, after that we'll post to a miscellaneous expense. That's on page 206. And that was a debit 47.64. And my new debit balance, $2,537.61. My account number 6135 is going in there. And the last one, cash short and over. It's a short of $1.05. Oh, my new balance, $21 even. And that was account number 6110. So we have we have posted everything individually, which takes quite a bit of time here, as you can see. Next, we need to total our journal. So I'm going to put the last day of the month, which is 31, and then I'm going to write totals. And I'm going to draw a single line to indicate that we are adding. So I'm going to pause here for a moment and add up my totals. All right, so I added up all of my totals here. My general debit, $1,917.02. Accounts payable debit, $2,066. Purchases discount credit was $32.80, and my cash credit was $3,950.22. Now my debits and credits do equal, and they didn't give me a spot to do this, but what I did over here is I added up my debit column totals, which was my general debit and accounts payable debit, and then I added up my two credit column totals, purchases discount credit and cash credit. And I found that the totals of each of those columns added together, my debits and credits, equal. And since they do, I am going to double rule my column totals. So the next thing we're going to do is post our totals. We do not post the general debit. All of this was posted individually. So I'm going to put a check mark in parentheses underneath it to indicate that my posting is done. There's nothing for general credit, so we're just going to leave that blank. If there was a total here, we would also put a check mark in parentheses under there as well. Now, accounts payable debit needs to be posted. We did already post to the vendors in our accounts payable ledger, but now we need to post to our controlling account, and that's on page 205. So I'm going to put the date of October 31st, and this is CP10. And if I look at the special amount column, it says accounts payable debit. So I'm going to put that in as a debit, $2,066. And I have a credit balance, and I just had a debit, so that means I will be subtracting. So my new balance, it's still a credit balance because this number is still larger than that debit, but it's $8,717.53. And since I'm done posting there, I'm going to put the account number in parentheses underneath my column total. Next, we're going to post to our purchases discount as a credit. So that is on top of page 206. I'm going to put in my date, which is 31 CP10, and purchases discount credit $32.80. And I have a credit balance, and so that means with my credit here, I will add. And so that gives me my total of $654.28. That's done posting, so my account number 5120 will go underneath in parentheses. Whoops. And then I need to post to my cash credit, since we paid cash, to my cash account in my general ledger. And then I will subtract that from my debit balance. And I'm not going into a lot of detail, as you can tell, with posting, because it's something we've done a lot of before. So my new debit balance for cash, $12,504.97. And my account number 1110 will go underneath my cash total. So my journal is completely done. I have totaled everything. I've posted it. It looks exactly like it should look when it is finished. The last thing we need to do in the instructions is to prepare a schedule of accounts payable. And so that's going to be done on page 207 at the bottom of where we have our petty cash report. And the purpose of this is to prove that all of our vendors that we have in our accounts payable ledger equal the total accounts payable, our controlling account, in the general ledger. So to start this, we need to do our heading, and the company's name was Golden Fabrics. And what we are making will go on the next line. This is a schedule of accounts payable. And then the date, it will be for October 31st, since that is the date we are making this count. And you'll put in the current year there. So what we'll do is we will go through our vendors that we have here on page 204. And any vendor in our accounts payable ledger that has a balance, we are going to record it on here. Now, sometimes I've seen it in the book both ways, where they have written a company down or a vendor down that did not have a balance. I do not include them because they do not have a balance, but sometimes you'll see it and they'll draw a line through it. I would just skip it. So they just give us one column here to record it. So Coastal Company, we're just going to record their balance of $2,230.88. I am not going to include Gray Manufacturing because there's no balance. So next I'm going to list Pacific Supply. And their ending balance was $4,177.65. That's where I got that number from. So we're going to continue with Westland and Eatland. And remember, we're just looking at the final balance number, $566. And so what we will do at the end here is we will write total accounts payable. And we will draw a single line, and we will total these four numbers, and the total of these four numbers is $8,717.53. In order to prove that this is correct, we need to compare this to our controlling accounts payable, which is found on page 205, $8,717.53. And if they equal, which they do, we can double rule it. If they don't equal, we probably made an error in posting somewhere. So this proves that our accounts payable ledger is in balance as it should be. and that it equals our total accounts payable.